circle back or fight me.
Did you even read my email, bro?
Now that's above my pay grade.
This is not a drill.
Hey, Excellers, it's Editing Emily, and I jumped back on to let you know that we have launched our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/girlsthatexcel. This episode with Josh Pele is going to be the very first episode that we show because Josh does some incredible magic tricks that it sounds cool when you're like listening to it, but honestly, if you see it in the video, you're going to be just as shocked, just as mind blown, just as taken away as we were. Josh won our hearts over, and we cannot thank him enough for being on this episode. So feel free to continue listening. It's a great episode, but if you want to see the magic portion, go to our YouTube. All right. See ya. Do you feel like you get talked over in meetings, aren't getting the job because you're overqualified, or say per my last email 7 times in one email thread? If so, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Girls That Excel. It's Emily.
And Alyssa, and today we're doing something magical. We are excited to host a celebrity magician, Josh Pele.
Woo! Hey, Josh.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Anytime. We're really excited about this. I love magic, so.
I love magic too. So that's 2 of us.
I'm so here for it. So we're going to give a quick little introduction for those of you who are not familiar. Josh Pele is not your average magician. Known for his captivating illusions and charm, Josh has performed for some of the biggest celebrities and brands in the world. From private events to international stages, he's made magic that's truly unforgettable. But Josh's story isn't just about tricks. It's about building a brand, connecting with audiences, and making dreams a reality. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to uncover the man behind the magic and learn what it takes to thrive in the world of entertainment. Have you done a podcast before?
I try to do podcasts as much as I can. I love them. I love talking, sharing my story. I think with my story, my background, which we'll get into in a little bit, as well as just the industry I'm in, people aren't always used to the ways I can relate it to other things like entrepreneurship, business, negotiating. There's really no topic that I can't explain through magic. So it's very fun to kind of help people in their ways, find their way, find their hustle, find their way to kind of believe in themselves. Because if half the stuff I've done is so crazy when you put it on paper, like this guy gets paid to do paper stuff with these names, it kind of makes you think, well, if he can do that, why can't I do A, B, or C? So
Absolutely.
I try to get that out for people to think about.
Super inspiring. I love it.
We love to celebrate different ways to success here on the Girls That Excel podcast, is because I think it's really interesting that people can make their living in a wide variety of ways, and there's no one way to success. And so I love that your path is not necessarily like the normal one, the orthodox one. And so it's really cool and interesting.
I'm really excited. So we're going to get started because I want to see some magic tricks. So we are going to clock in as we do every episode, just like you clock in for work. So since you're a magician, we're going to start talking about some Harry Potter because it's very fun.
Of course, magic.
So first of all, you need to answer what house you would be. And also the 2-part of the question is, if you could do like one specific spell or have like one specific gadget, like what would you want to be able to do or have that they had within the series? And it can be from like books 1 through 7.
House is definitely Gryffindor.
Love that.
To
Me
think
too.
about that. I deemed that when I was like 5, and I have to stay true to myself.
Did you ever
The
take
second
one of
question was
those
a really good-
Hogwarts tests?
Yeah, the hat will still give me that.
I love that. All right. It's legit.
Gryffindor.
The second question is definitely a good one. There's a lot. I already know the spells, so that's no comment, NDA stuff. The items, there's a lot of good items, but something that came to my mind because of the topic of this podcast and stories we'll get into is the Marauders map. I definitely think having that would be great. And the reason I say that is because I used to have this saying when growing up, which is kind of how I think of myself, my business, things I do, and it's, what's the hardest part about dating the Queen of England? And it's a serious question. If you were to be someone that had intentions of dating the Queen of England, how would you do that? Like, what would the hardest part in that effort be?
The
And I
age
ask
gap
people
for me.
What would you say?
The age gap for me.
That would be like your what would turn you away from doing it. I'm saying like you're committed to actually doing it. Today you decide without a doubt you're gonna try to date this woman.
Okay.
What's gonna be the hardest part about that effort? The question.
I don't know.
I'm not in the royal circle, probably.
Exactly.
They won't let me
That's-
through the door.
That's exactly. So the hardest part would be literally getting into Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
If you don't get in,
Oh,
to the
and then the
door, you're
Marauders
never-
map could help you do that. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
There you go. I got that. That's so cool. That was
Not going to
really
be as
smart.
extreme as me trying to date royalty, but the instances for me, for anyone, right? If you're in the right, if you know what you're doing, you believe in yourself, you're going to make the opportunities happen by opening those doors. If you had a map that told you where all the doors were at any given time, that would be pretty helpful.
That would
So
get
for
you
that
in
reason,
for sure. Yep.
Marauders, no doubt about it.
I'm pretty sold on that. That's pretty cool.
I feel like that's true in business too. It's like if you knew the doors that were open for you, you would have so many more opportunities. But I think we're a little scared to like walk through those doors sometimes.
So that's what I do for work. I literally walk into places where I'm probably not welcome all the time. But I will say I did just finish this book on how to prospect for like new people. And they said that the best people to be nice to is actually like the secretary, because that's your gatekeeper. So you have to be super nice to like the person who's sitting at the desk that you either called, showed up at, whatever, because they're going to remember you and they're going to talk to their boss about you. So you just got to be nice to the guards too.
Yeah.
Then they could be your friend. But I am going to answer this question because I've thought about this a lot. I either want the time turner or Hermione's purse.
Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad.
Then I
This
have
is-
everything with me all the time.
This is where I confess that I've seen Harry Potter once, and
You need to leave right now.
that was when I was 21 and I was like forced to watch it by a friend.
Yeah, you gotta
because I-
leave.
Well, something must have stood out to you though, like at least one
Yeah.
item.
Well, I'm definitely a Gryffindor. I've
is true. I
taken
can
those
attest to
like
that.
yeah, I'm very like the very stereotypical Leo, and I feel like a Leo is also a Gryffindor, just very outgoing. And I don't know. I want that owl. I want like a familiar. That's
You
all.
want
I want a
Hedwig?
dog. I don't know.
Oh
I
my
just
gosh,
want to
you're
like
so
I want a
funny.
little pet. That's all I want.
I want a little pet. All right. Well,
a pet and a wand. That's all I know.
Well, that's a good answer. Though.
Yeah,
That's a
there you
solid
go.
choice.
yeah. Okay, well, we're going to move into our questions to get to know you a little bit better. And then again, I'm trying to speed through this. I want to see some magic. So, to get started, what first drew you into the world of magic? Was there like a particular moment or a trick that made you think like, this is what I want to do as my career?
Yeah, what hooked
Yeah.
you in?
I hooked myself by accident, to be honest. What happened was I was on a trip to Italy about a few years ago, just to visit a friend. No magic background, no magic interests, no knowledge of tricks. But I brought a deck of cards with me because I always worry if I'm traveling, what if I can't sleep on the plane? I'm going to be very uncomfortable. I didn't like to read at a time, so that ruled out book. Things like Rubik's Cubes were too big to carry. TV wasn't really on planes as much as it is now on Wi-Fi. So I'm like, 6-hour flight. If I don't sleep, what do I do? Fidget with a deck of cards. I think anyone can take cards and play with them and have fun, or at least kill some kind of time.
Yeah, you
Started
can like
doing
shuffle
that.
or whatever.
Yeah, shuffle them,
Yeah.
mix. I don't even know. Just
Solitaire.
literally, it's such a good fidget toy because you
Mhm.
could take a few cards, you could take a lot, you could play with the box. I don't know, but fidgeting with them, I came up with a trick. But no magic knowledge, no magic experience, no idea if the trick is a trick, no idea if it makes sense. A lot of questions to be answered. But knowing myself and my personality, I'm going to answer them. So I went to strangers around the streets of Milan who didn't speak English. And at the time, I didn't speak Italian. Now I ended up speaking a lot of languages because of magic. But then I was just the 3-language person. And Italian was not one of them. So language barrier didn't stop me. No knowledge of magic didn't stop me. Performing the same trick over and over, got crazy reactions, and it just kicked it up for me to kind of go after it.
So what was the first trick?
Are you going to show it to us? Because I want to see it now.
Show it to you. I can't really show it. It was just an idea based off of artwork, like playing off the artwork of cards. So for example, if you go to the store, you choose what kind of deck you have, right? You can get a black one, a red one. You can choose it based on the color, and the difference is literally the color.
I have a Dolly
But some,
Parton Nashville deck personally.
yeah, just like that. There's also themed ones. You can get like a Nashville one if you're visiting a city, New York City, right? You can get like themed if you like TV shows. You can get like Breaking Bad cards. So those things, right, they're still cards, 52 cards, but if you have like Breaking Bad ones, then you have the added element of, oh, like there might be characters on the cards. Or, if you're going to a city, there might be venues like the Empire State Building, right? The Golden Gate Bridge. So the deck I was playing with was a zombie deck. So
Oh,
the Jack,
Okay.
Queens, and Kings were like decorated a little differently and looking like all dead like. And one of the Jacks had like hearts on them. They all did, but they all had like an uneven amount. So I think like the king had like 4.5 hearts, and I was like, well, 4.5 isn't a card. But one of them, the Jack of Hearts, had 3 hearts. It wasn't like a full, it was complete. So I was like, if someone gets a 3 of hearts and I show them the Jack, they're gonna tell me I'm an idiot or I messed up. But then if I somehow get them to look closer without blatantly pointing at it, maybe they'll make the connection. And so I tried that. And the second time around, when they look again and they see the 3 hearts, their card's the 3 of hearts, they made the connection and they freaked out. And it's always fun doing tricks where the first step is making them think you messed up because it doubles. They think that you mess up, you let them down, or that you're not good. And that makes the second part even more shocking than just
That's
finding
cool.
it. So it's always, I found that later on as I continue to perform that sometimes it's fun to pretend like you mess up. It gets better response because people are like, oh no. Oh, and then they just lose it.
that's awesome.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
So you have performed for some of the largest, biggest names, huge celebrities, all in Hollywood and in New York. But how did you get started? Like from practicing tricks in Italy to then performing in front of A-listers. What was that transition?
Yeah, it's been so long since the start of the celebrity thing that I almost forget this story. I haven't told it in a long time because it's like second nature to me. But I knew 2 types of things I wanted to do. Definitely was perform for celebrities. I just thought that idea sounded very cool, and I wanted to do nightlife. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, but I like to go out and listen to music. So I had 2 markets that I had no knowledge about, never worked in nightlife, don't know anyone in nightlife, don't know any celebrities, don't know anything about that, but I just kind of knew those were the places I'd go. So I started going to one place, which led to another, making a name for myself and telling people they should hire me for these clubs. And they tell me it doesn't make sense. I don't know, magicians, whatever, but kept showing up, kept doing it, kept proving the concept live, right? When you have people coming in spending tens of thousands of dollars in a night and they tell you that the best part was that guy with the cards, that's nice. When you have
Yeah, it
several
makes an
people do it
impact.
several
That's
times,
honestly so awesome. Like you full on just were like, I am doing this and like powered through. Cause like that's not fun. Like having to go in and not know anyone and just like prove yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's really hard to stick with. So good for you.
I'm
Yeah,
sure you've heard a
definitely.
lot of
And
no's too.
oh yeah, but no's turn into yeses very quickly because if one person says no, the moment they see their competitor say yes, they instantly take it back. The moment someone else in your industry says it, like club said no, the moment one club said yes, the other one saw that and were like, wait, come here, come here, come here. Now it changed. Everyone wanted me at the same time. Everyone was doing that. And I was like, all it takes is one. It's kind of like a fake it till you make it, or leverage the one that gives you the chance, and then the others will follow, assuming like they're good people and you want to work with them, and the only reason they said no is because they didn't understand. You'll make them understand because only you can see. Everything I say tonight about my magic applies to any business, which is why it's you can apply it to whatever you do, whether you're a blue collar, white collar, work from home, not work from home, right? It's the vision's yours, right? You know what you want for yourself. You know what you could do. No one else is going to understand yourself better than you. So you can't necessarily blame the world that the opportunities aren't there. You can't blame others for not seeing it. You just have to look at it differently and say, what are they missing? How how am I not conveying my message? How am I not proving to them? Because you don't want someone to be pretty sure you're the right person, you're the right gig, you're the right service, you're the right business they want to follow. You want them to be certain, right? So you kind of you have to ask yourself what's missing, where am I not communicating, right? Don't ever blame someone else. Don't think they don't see the vision. Maybe you didn't communicate it clearly. And even if you are, right, maybe that shows that you could do it better, right? Maybe this person, you could do it differently. You always have to take the responsibility for it and just try out new things. The worst case is you learn something new. And I don't think learning anything, I don't think that you can really expect everything to always go your way. And by having that mindset, you'll continue to open doors, create opportunities. You just have to just ask yourself, be receptive to your own feedback, be receptive to other feedback, but know that just keep pushing it. Maybe not everyone speaks your language and you show them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that a lot. I think that there's so much that, you know, people don't think about, like, okay, like it's gonna be hard. And like, when you first start out, like even for this, like we're not where we want to be in the long, like in the end,
Yeah.
like we're still in the growing phase. And like you have to think about like, okay, like, yeah, that sucks, but like change the mindset. Like, what can we do to make it better? And I think that that's like something that everyone will learn from. Like with your story, literally, like you started from the bottom and you're like now at the top. So it's very like inspiring for other people to be like, okay, if I change my mindset, I could do that too. So it's nice to hear someone else say that.
Yeah. I think we we keep putting out our content. We keep like reaching out and networking and getting different interviews, and it's going to grow little by little, but eventually we'll be at the place we want to be. And kind of that growth path is also a little fun.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll have celebrities on. Maybe one day we'll be
No,
like you.
You will have it. You have to love the process.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around, because no matter what the project is, no matter how well executed, how well planned, how well connected you are, nothing will ever be perfect on the first go around. And again, no matter how much planning, you can't predict certain things. And I'm sure you've seen that with some of your episodes, some of the things you've done, whether before this, on the scenes, before, during, or after, right? You can only see it when you do it. And
Agreed, yeah.
some people will get to those moments and be like, wow, but I have to do this too, and that, and this, and they get discouraged. While other people will say, oh, this is cool. Like now I know SEO. Now I know messaging. Now I know, cold, whatever it is, right? And if you really enjoy that process, you're only going to keep getting better. And if you only keep getting better, more success comes in all aspects. If you get annoyed or frustrated, like, wow, I have to do this and I have to do that, right? Like you start to wonder, like, how much do you really want it?
You got to be
Because
mentally tough.
You're gonna struggle, and it's not necessarily a toughness. Like, yes, it's very important to overcome those phases where you get burnt out, but that's a whole different kind of thing. It's more of like when you're building it,
Resilience.
right? You have to, go 10 steps to move one. And if you enjoy doing it, you're not going to feel like you did that. If you complain every half step, right? When you walk 10 steps, you're going to convince yourself that you walked 100 and burn yourself out 10
Mhm.
times faster than you actually are burnt out. So it goes both ways, like the mentality of your energy. You could do 10 times less work and be 10 times more tired, or you could do 10 times more work and feel like you just started and keep going. It definitely goes both ways.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree. I think about the jobs where I was like the most passionate about, and it's like I didn't really care that I was working 50, 60 plus hours because I was traveling around the country. I was building these retail properties. I was like fun, exciting. I was doing what I was like really passionate about, and it didn't feel like work, even though I was working probably more than I've ever worked at any other point in my life. Like even still to this day, like I've gotten to a level of success in my career where I have it, I wouldn't say easy. I still work quite a lot, but I'm not grinding yet. It's still, I would say, not as fun as when I was grinding.
That's fair. Alrighty. Our next question. Are you ready? You've worked with so many incredible people. Who is the most famous person you've performed for? And what was the moment during that show where you were like, wow, I did that. I got them here. Or you can pick the coolest person if you don't know who the most famous is. Because there's a lot of famous people you perform for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Or
a lot
both.
of times these names are kind of, at this point, it's just expected. I don't really get over it. Like it's always exciting, but I'm never like, oh my God, like fangirling kind of thing. I think the ones that I walk away thinking like, wow, I never get nervous. I know I'm gonna crush it, because for me it's like I'm not a fan of them. I'm about to make them a fan of me.
I literally love that. You need like some t-shirts with these quotes. Like you've got some good quotes going on.
Well, that's just how I see it, right? Because I'm the performer, right? They're focusing on me,
Yeah.
everyone around them, right? Like everyone comes to the club or wherever to see them.
You've like
But when I'm
reversed the
showing
entertainment.
all the you watch the videos back, like it's not just the celebrity reacting. All the phones are on me, the camera's on me. What I'm doing, I'm directing it, right? Like it's my
Yeah.
show, my time, and that's how you have to see it, right? They're just normal people. To give names, I think the ones that I do get that extra kick later, I'm like, oh, that was so cool. Is anyone that I enjoyed as a kid
Yeah.
or growing up? Because like I have a god sister, and I used to always like listen to like Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith like when I was like 12. So there's like a video from like middle school where I was like rapping that song. So when I did Jaden Smith, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like I could text her. I have an older brother, so he's a lot older. So sometimes these newer names he doesn't know. So it's always fun when I get a name that he knows. I'm like, if my brother knows who that is, that's a good sign. So Jaden Smith was a fun one. That's always one everyone knows. J Balvin is really big now. He's been big for a while. He was a good person because I can think back to those times younger where I listened to their music or saw their shows. 50 Cent is just
What
great.
was
T-Pain
50
was really
Cent like?
I love 50 Cent. Well,
50 Cent's great. Yeah. The beauty of what I do is a lot of these people are New Yorkers. So
So you get
if
to
you
see
told me
them.
to get Jaden Smith, that's the hard one because I don't know when he's gonna come to me or come by or that. 50 Cent, he's a New Yorker. I can probably, in terms of performing for these names, right? Even if I don't really have a big relationship with the person, if any at all, if they're from New York, I will likely have several opportunities a
Yeah.
year to do something
That's so
with
cool.
them, for them, or with them.
Yeah.
If
I
they're like
love 50
big
Cent.
days.
He's so funny, and I think he stands on business all the time, and that's one thing I respect about him.
He's hilarious. You should see some of his videos where he just like where people ask him to say nice things. Like I'm not gonna say the name because the other celebrity is someone I did perform for and I neutral. I like both, but there's one celebrity, maybe there's others that 50 has beef with. Like
Mhm.
historically, he's always
Yeah.
hated this guy. I actually don't know the story behind the beef, but 50 just hates him.
Yeah.
And in an interview, the guy was like, can you say one nice thing about him? And 50 goes, he's alive.
I know.
And I thought that was such a
Dang.
funny interview.
I know exactly who you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, I don't
It
want to
was
say that name because that guy, in my experience with him, I have no beef, and he was really nice to me as well. But it's just so funny.
You don't want to get in the middle.
It's
You got to be Switzerland.
just a fun answer.
Yeah, no,
he's
that was
alive.
such a
That's my
funny
nice thing. I
answer.
feel like that's something you should steal. Like if someone asks you to say something nice about someone you really don't like, they're alive. It's the most neutral comment ever.
I respect, honestly.
Yeah. So, when you're looking back at your tenure of your career, what is the coolest, most, I guess, memorable show that you've done? Like, is there one performance that might stand out above the rest?
Yeah, I think now that I'm looking back at moments compared to what it's like for me now and how to do the same types of shows, it's funny thinking back to what it was like when I really had to convince at least one person to take a chance. But I always am strategic. Like I can be full of myself sometimes in good ways, sometimes in bad. But I always have this idea that like people are always watching me, like in public, right? So if I have cards and I'm doing something cool, I'm like, someone's gonna notice and say something. That's not the case. People don't give a care. Like I'm in New York, no one cares about anything else but themselves. But I still have that idea. Like if I go out and I do something, maybe someone will ask. Like I'm hoping someone will. If they don't, I'm gonna initiate. And I was in Mexico and I'm in like this music festival at the resort. So the way it works is a production team builds a stage at the pool of the resort. So it's really nice because you can go to a music festival. You don't have to worry about Ubers or anything because you can just walk to your room.
Convenient.
Walk
We love
back out.
convenience.
And because of like that splay, right? You need to separate VIP and regular, but you're just on a resort. So the way they did it was VIPs closer to the stage and regulars in the back, which just makes sense. You pay more, you get better view. So I'm near the stage with like the side where there's like that tunnel in the back where artists come in and out. And I'm playing with cards and someone on the team goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm a magician. He's like, you do a trick for me right now, I'll vouch for you. So shout out Eddie, that's my guy now. And I did a trick. I obviously knew which one. You tell me to show you one trick and you'll do something for me. I know which one I'm gonna do. Like I have two,
Yeah,
three
you got it
tricks
in your back pocket ready to go.
well, these are the ones that are like my heavy hitters. I need to do this trick to one person one time and I'll be sold. You tell me this person has 30 seconds, you time me. I did it. I probably could do it in 30 seconds, but the first time I had someone actually time me. They're like, I only have a minute. I'm like, okay. They're like, no, I'm serious. They took their phone out and timed me. I was like, all right, let's see how I do. 45 seconds. And then they gave me more time. And he put me backstage. I got to meet all these famous DJs. And my start was doing a lot of DJs. I was going to a lot of concert shows, doing a lot of famous DJs. And then by doing DJs, everyone goes to these DJs, especially now you see people like John Summit blowing up anyone and everyone for Black Coffee and kind of music. So I went from there and made that network to go into the clubs, to go into the general celebrities. And then it went from, I did like 40 famous DJs, 40 of the top 100 in the world, maybe one rapper, one actor, that to now, ton of DJs, ton of rappers, ton of actors, a little of everything. So that was a good one. And the Jaden Smith one too, because he was one of the very first celebrities I ever did. And I had no idea how I was going to get his attention. But when they come to the club, there's three ways. They show up and dip. They show up, perform a song and dip, or they show up and hang. So if I'm not part of the club, which I wasn't at the time, I'm hoping that they don't leave. They don't do their song and go because I don't have time before because they have to get ready unless I go into the green room,
Yeah.
which depends if there is a green room and how they're doing it that night or when they're coming. Like sometimes they come, hang out and go out. Sometimes they just show up and then go on stage and then dip. So you don't have that moment to socialize. And in this case, I'm like, I hope he stays. And how do I get his attention? And as he's performing, it's crowd control. You're an artist. And he was reading like the girls' phones. A girl put on her forehead, "It's my birthday." And he pointed at her and said, "Happy birthday." And another girl put on her head, "I love you." And I always thought that's stupid, putting a song for like a DJ. They're not going to listen to it. They're still not. But he's reading the phones. So what do I have to lose by saying I'm a magician? Can I show you a trick on my
That is
phone?
so
You took the
awesome.
shot.
And
Yeah.
I was right, like the best spot. Like if you were in the spot where he's standing and you looked around anywhere to read any phone, mine's the best one. Mine's the easiest, most convenient, closest one to read. So I have the best possibility. If he's seeing all of those,
Yeah.
no shot he doesn't see mine. So I show him, sprints to me. He's like on this little stage. He sprints to me, sits down on the stage, and I got to do a trick for him.
That is so
Wow.
awesome. Get
And then
out.
I doubled it by throwing in a favor from a friend. I was like, "What do you think of this story?" And he liked it, and I got an article written on it. And then
That's
I
so
was like,
cool.
throwing that celebrity name out there, and then became that name because now I do a lot,
Yeah.
one, and now it's lots of them. It's
That's so cool.
It's crazy.
Dude, imagine Jaden Smith just sitting down in front of you being like, "Yeah,
I
show
know.
me that trick."
And the video, like it's on my Instagram now. It's buried because it's an old one, and I
You gotta
have
pin it to
newer
the
one.
top.
We did well, I have the other article the next year when I was officially paid to work his birthday party, 1 year apart. But the first video, he looks like this young, like 20-year-old kid. He looks like a baby. And you see him like freaking out, like he's smacking the security guard that's just to work at the club, going crazy to the trick. And then the next year, he's like, all his teeth are grilled out, his
Yeah.
hair is different, like he had a
Yeah.
360. But you look at the two photos, like this is a year apart. You don't believe it. But the first one where he didn't know me and he's just sitting, going crazy, like
That's
freaking out.
so cool.
He's literally smacking the hell out of the security guard. And that guy, I'm good friends with him now. He's like, "Yo, I love that video." I showed my parents, like, "I got smacked by Jaden Smith." I'm like, "You did. You did get smacked by Jaden
All
Smith
because of you.
multiple times."
That's so
And
cool.
it's just such a good reaction. Like the reactions I get are great because it's this, at the end of the day, they're all people. They're all going to have the same stuff. So I don't care if it's person A or famous person B. They're both going to enjoy it. Person B, just his fans can come to me. Like if he shares it, those fans become fans of me as well, and you kind of cross pollinate the
Yeah.
space.
I mean, you're sharing the wealth essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I mean, how do you decide which trick or illusion you're going to show in these situations? When you're like, you got 45 seconds, how do you select one?
Well, I have my three big ones that I know are heavy hitters, no matter what, when, where they're going to work. Doesn't matter if it's loud, doesn't matter if it's crowded, and they're always going to be really strong. And I do that. And if first the goal is get a photo and a video if you can. And then as it built, it was like sometimes I'd get photos and it was too chaotic. I didn't actually get to perform for them. I got to perform for their teams, but no one knows because I'm there, I'm with them. People just assume. And now I get the opportunity to have more time to really talk and chill. And now I try to get two. The first trick I do is a custom one I make for everyone. And that's just so personalized that it's like not just a trick, it's literally personalized to them. They can't not acknowledge it in any context. And it
Okay.
was like my fix for like, what if they're too drunk, too sober, or too hot? No, not too sober, too drunk, too high. Like it's so straightforward that like you don't
Yeah.
even have to think. Like if your eyes work, you'll have a response, a positive one, even if you're really intoxicated or high, which thankfully is not often the case, but just in case it is,
I feel like that would
and it
make
gets
them
good
more
response.
excited about it though, right? Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't they
Yes
be
and
like
no.
even
Like
more mind boggled at like the coolness of what you just did because they're inebriated? Like,
If,
yeah, but it depends on what they're on. Because if some of them are smoking and like sipping on lean or something, like some of the rappers tend to have like more than just alcohol
okay.
and weed, then they're in this like chill, don't bother me mood. Like they're not even really trying to buy. The fortunate part is a lot of the times I get asked on podcasts, was anyone ever a dick to you? And
Mm,
thankfully the answer is no. And that's because when they come to these venues, they're either already really messed up or they're not going to get more fucked up than where they are. And so if they're already gone, I don't even approach them. I'm told like if the staff is having an issue with them or pissed off, then I'm not going to try. It's
that's
not worth it.
fair.
I mean, that's smart.
They're too coked out or something. Like I kind of get like those warnings. So it's like no one's been a dick to me, but there's a handful of people I can name where odds are very high if I went to say hi, I would have gotten treated wrong. So I haven't had that, but it's always good. Like I always know before going in, do I just call it quits? Do I try? Is it worth it? So I thankfully have, good people I work with that are kind of they look out for me and they look.
It sounds like you're also really good at reading your audience, because I think that's really important as any entertainer. If you feel like the audience is like really buying into it, you know when to play it up, and when you feel like, oh, maybe I should pull back or do
Yeah.
this card or maybe not approach this situation. Sounds like you have like a really good gauge of that, which is great.
Sometimes I take big risks and they pay off really well. And some of the tricks, like sometimes I have tricks that I can't even control what I'm trying to do. I'm just hoping that a certain thing works, like generally out of pure like shooting my shot with like really low odds that this will
Yeah.
play out. Because if it does, it's a miracle because it's literally not magical like skill or talent. It's something that no magician can practice. It's literally I took that shot with a low probability and it went in. Like imagine like a full court buzzer beater, right? Like you can't make 5 of those in a row. But if time's running out and you throw it and it goes in, you're gonna take all that credit because it's still amazing.
I'm here for
And
it.
and it's happened to me with some big names where they were drunk, so they're not really listening directions. It's hard to hear in the club. Like I'm not really like getting them to go crazy. And I'm like, all right, like let's do something ballsy, and it's paid off. And like I tell the story to magicians, they're like, there's no way that it worked. It is like the craziest thing because sometimes I need to hold my cards. I don't need to hold them to do tricks or anything, but just because I need to dictate what's going to happen, right?
Mm.
Like if you just steal a random card out of my deck and hide it behind your back and say, what is it? Like,
You need to be
that's
in control of the trick, essentially.
yeah, I need to
Yeah.
be in control because it's not just about guessing it, whether I get it right or not, but it's a
Mhm.
way to guess. I'm not just going to have you pick a card and say it. Although, to be fair, that does get really good reactions. I think magicians forget how magical that moment is. I like to do it in different ways. I like to build up that suspense. I can be direct with things, but I
Mhm.
also like to choose which moments and which tricks to be that direct. So I don't like it if you just steal a card and say, what is it? I want to play it out because maybe I want to get it wrong and then get it right. But if you're already on that high edge, what is this? And I say it wrong, you're going to start laughing before I could say that, yes, I know I'm wrong because of that. And so that had happened to me. I couldn't touch the cards. I didn't know how I wanted to reveal it, but I knew the card, kept touching and mixing them. So I had no idea where the card was, but I knew which one it was. But that doesn't do too much. So I said, you know what? Okay, I can't touch the cards. You're drunk. Anything I do is fishy to you. Deal some cards to someone and stop. And then I was hoping that I'd get the deck back to try to find the card. He stopped right on his card, looked at it, freaked out as if I did that myself. And I was like, yeah,
That was
exactly.
me.
He
I
looked at
did
me
that.
like, yes. I was
Take
gonna
full
try to
credit
save
as
that
you
moment
should.
and I didn't need to. It's like the card found itself for me. It's like the cards, it's like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. You
You have
believe in
like
the
some
heart of the
good karma
cards.
then.
That was a moment where the cards believed in me and just did it for me. And I was just like that celebrity went on to tell the management, like I wasn't working that night. I got called in for something different and it was like a back end issue where I'm not going to go into the details of it, But basically, I saved that club's butt that night because the person was not happy. There was some issues in the back end, and the whole staff, the managers were kind of going crazy. The truth is, it's a really big name. And when the manager told the team that this person was coming, they didn't think he was serious. And so there was like disorganization and making sure everything's up to speed. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of caused the person to be frustrated when he arrived. And he's like a really, really big name. So it's like doubles on that end. And like they told me the next day, like, you saved us. Like that was he that night, he didn't take any photos with anyone but the owner of the venue and me. And he was
Wow.
not taking photos,
So
no
you're the
videos.
celebrity now, is what I'm
And
hearing.
I was like, that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
The
Even
cards
the
really
manager's like,
opened
you
the
got
door
a
for you.
photo?
The cards were in your
I,
favor, as
yeah,
they say.
I need to watch Yu-Gi-Oh now because I've never said that, believe in the heart of the cards, but I'm thinking like that is a Yu-Gi-Oh moment, very Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I like that. Did you play Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid? Or
No, I
Pokemon or
didn't, but
anything?
no, I bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards. I never learned to play Yu-Gi-Oh though. I know, I remember I tried to play it like once because my friend at the time did, and now apparently the game's like impossible to play. Like the people that played like a lot less kids, like if you try, you lose in like 5 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Busy, but
I think a lot of people play Magic the Gathering now.
I didn't play any of that stuff. I was just curious because I was like, man, like if you were into cards as a kid, like maybe like that like kind of helped inspire you in a way.
I was just like a normal like buy stuff from things that know they're like bend them, throw them away, and then
Yeah.
now I actually am very knowledgeable in the collectible space. I did a lot of shows regarding anime and that, and I kind of got back into it. So I know a
Cool.
lot about that. Like I have friends that their whole net worth is in Pokemon cards. I'm
Wow.
not, and I have another friend. He sells about he makes he doesn't make in the revenue, not like profit. He
Mhm.
sells about like over 100,000 a month of Pokemon cards.
Wow. That's
So in
crazy.
the past few years, he's done like 7 million in sales in like 3 or 4 years on Pokemon cards.
Holy moly.
That's insane.
I know a lot about that space
I
now.
wish I could be
So
cool like that, but that's just not something I was ever like
oh,
interested
that one's
in.
tough,
And now
you
I'm
know,
like,
that
I messed up. I should have done that.
no,
Yeah,
that
we
one's like
were.
that's tough. You get a lot of stress because the beauty of what
Yeah.
I do, right, is I don't really have I keep myself simple in terms of what I need. I can just show up and get going. Versus,
Yeah.
when you have stuff like that, like there's the back and you have to prepare. Like if you're a musician, a singer, a DJ, like you have to bring your equipment and
You gotta
sound
lug
check.
stuff around. That's
You
when
gotta
you
lug
need
stuff
Hermione's
prepared.
purse. You could put it all in the
Yeah,
purse
but you
and
still
then
have to
go.
like set it up, and then you have to use it, and then you have to clean it up. Like I can, if someone else is booked 6 to 7, they have to get there 5:30 to set up, work 6 to 7, and then 7 to 8 clean up and go. Me, like I could show up at 6 and leave at 7. I'm like, I don't need to prepare, I don't need to clean up. I'm in and out. So
I'm here for it.
it's easy to take that for granted for sure.
Yeah, I was like, that's a blessing to just show up and then leave.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we have 2 more questions. We're almost to the end.
course.
So, the magic world is full of legends and innovators. Who is a magician or maybe even a business person that you admire or inspire you to be better every day? Like maybe they've influenced you in some way, something like that.
Like who do you look up to?
It's hard to name a magician. Hot take, not a big fan of magicians.
Oh, that is a hot take.
I think it's it sounds like a hot take to people, but if you are a magician, you'd understand what I mean. Magicians don't really like magicians. They don't like each other.
Is
Because
it
you can
kinda like-
debunk each other's tricks or
No, it's not even that. It's just, when you do something like magic, right? It's so unique.
Yeah.
People have seen singers and dancers, and you could appreciate a good dancer, a good singer, a good DJ, a good artist. But you see those a lot. You see those in all kinds of events,
Mhm.
capacities, and stuff. People have never met magician. And so I could do a simple trick. I can go on YouTube, Google, teach me a magic trick. That trick might be a trick that gets screams and these crazy responses is not always because of the effort and time it takes. Obviously, the scripting and the effort, like you can make it a lot better by your professionalism. The more you do it, the better you are with how you handle the audience and speak. It's obviously not going to be perfect, but just I'm a nervous kind of person. I'm not good at performing. I learned this card trick on YouTube. I want to try it. Still get
Mhm.
a really good response. So if on a very beginner, basic, non-technical level, there's things that can get great responses. Imagine how that, scales once you get used to it, more comfortable, and all these people are like, wow, you're amazing. It's very easy to kind of get full of it in a way.
Mhm.
And I think that happens a lot in that industry, that these people kind of think they're all high. It's what they're doing,
Yeah.
but they attribute that to them
Yeah.
personally, which is a very big distinction, right? Like if you're very intelligent about something, you're very knowledgeable in a field and someone comes, like that's genuinely you because that's your knowledge. It's not your display of that knowledge in a sense. And I don't mean like argue and negotiate. I just mean, it's because you've built that foundation intellectually that people are complimenting you. And then, that contributes to you versus with magic, right? Like if I just learned a trick on YouTube and I showed someone and everyone's like, oh, you're amazing. Like you're so talented. It's not necessarily the truth. It could be, right? It varies, but like it's not necessarily talent or skill. It's just the strength of what the substance is. Like the magic on its own is just that powerful that anyone can look good. And a lot of those people tend to get in those ways and not be, when you get these kind of compliments all the way, you kind of get in your old bubble, your own world, you kind of fall off reality. So for me, I saw that be the case when I started building my business. I got interested from Italy. I'm just this kid. I'm like a kid curious in magic, and I wanted to talk to other magicians just to talk shop. Like, what is magic? What blah blah blah. They're all really mean to me. The few that I spoke to at the time. I'm not gonna say a lot. Now I've met other ones, and now people see what I do and they give me respect. But like, I don't. Why would you give me respect now? Like, you should just respect someone in general.
Yeah.
If someone's interested in something, you should
Nurture them
be
and
nice
be
to
there for
people,
them.
help them, talk to them, be there for them. You don't have to give them the secrets and, they still have to work the same way you did, but be supportive, be nice, offer time. And if
Make
you're
it a
too busy,
community
then
instead of just a
yeah,
competition.
you know, be helpful, like give them some kind of advice or guide them somewhere if you don't have the time. You don't have to say screw you, like this is my world. And so I went into the business with no magic experience. I knew one trick. I didn't know anything. And I just pushed the business side of it, just hustling, going out and, keep hustling, keep going out. You get your miles in, right? You're getting your 10,000 hours because I keep doing and doing. And then because of that, the skills fall. So now I'm at a point where I'm very knowledgeable about the business side, which is all could focus on because that's all I knew. And then the magic has just done it because I've done all these tricks tens of thousands of times. And now I'm at a point where I have it both and I could see, the change and the growth. And some of those people that are mean to me watch all my stuff now, which is funny because they don't follow me, but they watch it all. And it's funny to
I
see
like
that like
that. They're
people have taken
jealous.
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, jealousy, or maybe they're not, but it's just, it's a good lesson for me because I'm like, that's how I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
If someone meet a few years ago and comes to talk to me, like I'm going to be open. I'm going to talk to them. If I'm busy, like I'll say, hey, like I'm busy, but I can give you advice. I can try to guide you. I can help you. Like why wouldn't you? Especially
I
because
like that. You're being the person that like you wish you had. Like so you're
yeah,
giving back and I love that. That's as it
yeah,
should
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in like I believe in competition. I think competition is a great thing, but I don't really think you should think of competition as like a bad thing. It's a great thing because it pushes you to innovate and be creative. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, especially with what I do, right? People have never met magicians. If someone comes in and steals all my business today, I can go get it back, get the same thing tomorrow. Like there's way more opportunity for magic and magic shows than there are magicians in the world. You know, like if you're a DJ or want to be a DJ, right? Like how many restaurants are there in the world?
Yeah.
Some of them need a DJ. How many people have events or parties? Like everyone has stuff every single day. There's a new charity opening up, a new nonprofit, a new restaurant opening, a new
Yeah.
event.
And they need
It's a million.
entertainment that's unique
Yeah,
that
it's a
people will
million people's
remember.
birthdays today. Why can't you just go find another one, right? Like if all my friends book someone else, why can't I go find five more people that have cousins getting married, sisters' birthdays coming up, anniversaries? There's just way too much. There will never be more magician. There will never be more supply than demand with what I do. And I think because of that, it's just be nice, help people, it'll
Yeah.
go back your way too, because if they do succeed to your level, right? Because now what happens when you're both booked, right? Like if they're double booked, they'll give you work. And when you're double booked, you give them work. So now you got a point where
You're
I
helping
don't
each
have to
other
say
out.
yeah, like if I get like a can't miss opportunity, like going on the Girls That Excel podcast and they have their like 100th
Yeah.
episode party and I unfortunately can't make it, like I don't have to be in a position where I say, hey, like I'm sorry, no magic for you. I could be like, hey, I'm sorry I can't make it, a major FOMO for me, but I do have magic for you. Like I could send this guy or that guy, it comes back in a good way if you are collaborative and teamwork. So I think that people should be happy about competition, personal development and growth reasons, but also, don't be a dick because those people could definitely help you and you help them, they help you. maybe you have a slow month and they overbook. They'll give you work.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you keep that door open for yourself?
This is the energy I'm so here for.
Well, next year when we have our 1 year party, we should definitely see if you can come out
Mhm.
and do some tricks for everyone.
100%. Yeah, we should bring Alejandro too, because I heard his
Oh, yeah.
episode.
We'll get the whole squad out here. And everything goes back to Italy. We're all going to
I think he's
Italy.
well,
So
he's
do
in
you want to come
Japan right
too?
now.
Okay, we can't. So we have a wedding for our friend Nick and Cass in Italy, and we keep just inviting people
Yeah,
to.
we just care, like, you know what? It's supposed to be a small, intimate wedding, but like, do you want to come too?
So Alejandro and I are going to be going to Italy together. He's a good friend of mine. So
He's a great. I did he was at one of my shows, an anime themed show actually. It was
he would.
Of course, Halo.
He's in
It was,
Japan right
Very
now.
on brand for him.
it was a One Piece, if you're familiar with it. It's the biggest anime in the world, but essentially it's a guy who wants to be king of the pirates. Pirates on a boat. So there was a One Piece yacht party, which is very fitting given that the story takes place on ships all
I
the
like
time.
this.
And everyone was cosplaying, and it was I don't know. I don't think it's ever been done. I'm claiming it to be the first. It was the world's first ever One Piece magic show. And Alejandro was there. He was a part of it. His friend was a part of it. It was a really fun night.
That's really fun.
Cool. As you set sail across and you saw like the sun setting, the Statue of Liberty. We're all like in costume. It was a very cool time.
What's so cool?
Anime
That is
community
really
goes
cool.
hard. Shout out Goodswill. He was the one that hosted it. Very good party, very good vibes. It's cool. I like creating different kinds of things like that. And also saying the world's first is always a cool title, regardless of what it is.
I'm super here for that.
Yeah, Ollie's in Japan right now. He's doing a lot of stuff with anime right now.
He needs to buy me something. Manifesting him bringing me a gift right now, even if he doesn't see this till later.
He probably won't because this isn't airing for a little bit. But
okay.
it's the
I
thought
will-
that counts.
I'm
I'll-
putting it out into the universe so that
I like it. I like that.
I'll
yeah.
text him and let him know that you expect a gift from Japan.
you text him and I text him, so he has double the messages, twice as likely.
He can't
to see it.
ignore too.
Exactly.
We'll get you that gift. It might be
And
just
guys,
like a.
if he doesn't respond to you, I'll text him too. Third time's the
I
charm.
love
It
this teamwork.
it
I-
might just be like a bag of peanuts from the airport, but we'll get you a gift.
Yeah, there will be
Hey.
something for you.
That's
um,
fine by me.
We do have one last question, and it is the most important question of the night. But will you please show us some magic? Because
Yeah.
that's really all I care about.
We can't have you leave without showing us some tricks.
I care about business, but I love magic.
Let me ask you this: do you have a deck of cards on you?
I have two. Which one do you want? I'm ready to go.
Well,
I have
What,
normal
normal-
people cards, and then I have
or
Hawaii cards.
Hawaii.
So I've never done this virtually with two people, so why don't we both do it? Like you
Oh,
both.
I'm
Okay.
so sold, but I'm gonna have to put my mic between my legs.
Great. Yeah,
Well,
it's okay.
we
You
can
won't,
put
you
it back
won't
on
need
the
your
stand.
mics. As long as you could hear me, because I'll be
Yeah.
talking and you'll just follow along.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us well?
Yes, I can hear you perfect. Okay. So, and even if I can't, like I could see if you're doing it, so it'll be simple. Now, I've never seen either of those decks before. I see the designs now. Looks like I have a Maui and horse. So take your time. I think that's a brand new deck, the Maui one, so the plastic's probably still on it. And to the viewers back home, when you buy a new deck of cards, they come with plastic on them, so you gotta peel that off. Sometimes it's all around the cards that are in a box. Sometimes it's around the box.
Yeah.
So we currently
my
have that.
my nails are struggling to get this
Yeah.
open. Yes. I
Homework makes the dream
I
work.
finally got my nails done, but
She
they're
had a
like,
casualty.
very sparkly, and I'm now scared that I'm gonna like knock a jewel off.
So, with two people, you each have your deck. Mix them up. You will both shuffle your cards. Now, I will say, whenever you're done shuffling, you cannot change the order of the cards anymore. It's locked in. So, whenever you say you're good, that'll be the order. We won't change it at all. But you can mix it up as much or as little as you like until then. And when you're ready, just let me know. Okay, we have one person ready. And let me know when we have the other one ready. Third ready, one's ready. And are you ready as well?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Again, this order, whatever you have, will not change.
Correct.
So for example, if you take a card off the top, you have to put it back on top. You can't put it anywhere.
Okay.
So hold them up like this, so the bottom's facing the camera. Okay, and we'll do this slowly. So the card facing you, I want you to peel it off like that, both of you.
The card fit.
Yeah. So the
back card?
top card, yeah, the one closest to you. Okay, and then keep going. Don't change the order though. So we're going to keep peeling. This is showing that all the cards are different. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just put them back where they were. We're not changing the order.
Okay.
Okay.
Now hold them like this so the back is to the ceiling. And what each of you are going to do, pick up a little bit. Now, don't pick up a lot. Let's say less than half, as many as you like, but less than half, and pick it up. And then turn it upside down. And you can just put that on top. Great. Now we're going to do it one more time. Pick up a bigger stack than before. Good. Turn it upside down and drop it. So now we have two types of cards. We have a stack on top that's facing the ceiling, right? You see the ace of hearts on one, and I see some nine of clubs, right? And if you spread through the cards, let me show you, right? If you spread through those cards face up, you'll eventually get to a card that's face down. So keep going till you have a card that's face down.
Okay.
And stop right there. So you have it, you have it. That face down card, I want you to each hold it to your chest. Okay? And
Should we
let
look
me
at
know.
it or no?
No, not yet. This is going to be together because we have two cards. So this is, wait, my cards just fell, but it's okay. Here we go.
Amateur.
You have
Just
two
kidding.
cards just like this. So you're each having two cards. So on the count of three, that card to your chest, we're going to flip them, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
What the hell?
Oh my god.
Is this legit? Literally, what?
How?
How do you do this?
Oh my god, how?
Dude, if you, like, guys, we're literally on Zoom and we are across the country.
We're in different time zones. How?
What the heck? I
Oh
love this
my
shit.
god.
Do another one.
I'm actually shocked. I'm
Do it
shook.
again. Can I shuffle them now, or am I getting me in trouble?
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The trick's done. Yes.
Okay. I need another one. I need another one.
Sure. Why don't
Here, we
you
can-
name
Sorry, go.
name a card for me?
My cards.
King of Spades. Is that a card? Yeah.
Yeah, King of Spades.
Yeah, we can go with that one, or we can go with a different one. It's up to you.
I like the Queen of Hearts. It's very Alice in Wonderland.
Queen of Hearts. Okay, so let's do both. Let's do the King of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. So we'll start with
Okay.
the King of Spades. Can I get a number?
Wait, are we
1
doing
to
this or
10?
just you?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Can I get a number 1 to 10?
3.
3. Okay.
It's
So
my favorite number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cards.
Okay.
I'll work with these. A minute ago, I dropped because my computer is so 10 cards, and you said 3. Yes. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. That will
Okay.
leave us with
No.
What the hell?
How?
Now I'm going to define one more. So this one I'm gonna drop cards, and we'll do this twice. So who's gonna go first?
I'll go.
Okay. Say stop.
Stop.
If this was the Queen of Hearts, would that be amazing?
Duh.
It's not. I
Okay,
didn't say it
boo.
would be. I said if it was. Let's try again. Here we go.
Okay.
Not to the other.
Wait,
So
did
let's
you
say
put okay, wait. Okay. Did you put it back up, all of them? Stop.
if this was the Queen of Hearts, would that be amazing?
Well, duh.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not. Because I told you. Yeah. I didn't say it would be.
I'm gonna need you to change your
because-
verbiage next time.
Sure. Well, I said if. That's
Okay,
a
yeah.
big if.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
There's a reason it wasn't.
Where is
because-
it?
If I do something now, if I do it after you say it, people may feel that I'm not, it's not magic, right? You may feel like
Yeah.
I'm doing something, it's skill. It's impressive, but not magical. The only way for it to really be magic is if somehow I knew that's what was going to be chosen before it was chosen, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
That's magic because he knew before. Afterwards means there's wiggle room to do something sneaky, as they say.
Mm. We're following.
But I knew that was what you were going to say.
Okay.
You don't look impressed.
I'm
That is
like
you.
I'm very confused right now, but I'm also like
I'm
I'm like, what's he about
I'm
to do? Is he
waiting
about
with
to like
bated
appear in my
breath.
house?
Exactly. You're not impressed because one, you don't believe me. No one believes
Is it
a
about to
magician.
be
And
my
two,
deck?
I still didn't prove that I knew you were going to say that. So let me ask a simpler question. Do you know my name?
Josh.
Josh
What?
Pele.
Pele?
Imagine. Yeah, it's right here. Josh Pele Magic. It's my own merch.
Can I have a
I wore
shirt?
this shirt. Yeah, you can. What do you think of the back?
Oh, that is
Shut the fuck up.
sick.
What the hell?
That is a Queen of Hearts shirt. I think it would be perfect for you.
The crazy thing is I was like, oh, he has like a cool logo on his shirt when we first started the podcast. And I was like, he did not change his shirt. He's been wearing that the whole time.
Oh my gosh. She's freaked out.
I am shook.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
Thank you.
She
Words. I
she
have
loves
no
that
words.
shirt. She wants a
Yeah.
shirt. I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell.
we can send you one.
Oh my God,
yeah, just
please.
text me an address, and when I get back to the US, I'll send one out.
Wait, where
Wait, where
are
are
you?
I'm in the US, but I leave on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going?
I don't think I'll ship it out in a day.
That's fair. Where are you going?
I'll be performing in Stockholm, Sweden this
That's
weekend.
literally so awesome.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I learned a lot of my tricks in Swedish this last few weeks just so I could. I don't
Do you have to like
but I thought-
memorize the tricks ahead of time, like in the language, or like, or do
No,
you speak
my shows are in
Swedish?
English. When I travel, all my shows are in English, but I like to, try to learn my tricks in the other languages because I think it'd be really fun to go in the streets and perform. And I think that's
You're
one of the
literally
routes
so
that I'm
cool.
going to start taking is like, those people on TikTok, they go in the streets like, where are you from? And they just speak every language.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do that, but do it with magic. And so I speak 7 languages now, but
Oh, that's a lot of languages.
I
6
plan
more
to
than
do
I
more.
speak.
The other ones are going to be more of like a case by case basis. Like Swedish just came up because I ended up going to Sweden, which is why I crash coursed the shit out of it. But I think I'm going to do a challenge as soon as I get back. I want to do 30 magic tricks in 30 languages.
Wow.
I really
7 will
like
be
that.
easy.
Okay, so what are the 7 you know now?
So right now I can perform magic in English, Russian, Ukrainian, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and Swedish.
Wow.
And then
Not
the other
Spanish or like
23
French. Like I was like, these are like way more common
Oh, Spanish,
languages.
yes. Spanish, yes.
Okay.
Spanish, no.
Okay.
Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. So French would
Okay.
be
Those ones are pretty similar. Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of, tried to name 30 languages. I got stuck around 20 because again, the challenge is I'm going to have to do it. So if I think of like, I
Yeah.
speak Swedish, doing Danish and Norwegian would be easy. That's easy to learn. The hard
Yeah.
part is meeting someone that speaks that language to do it for. So right
That is
now,
very true.
I have,
Yeah.
like
I
20 that
actually-
I'm like feeling out, and then the last 10 are kind of going to be like if I meet someone from Mongolia, they speak Mongolian. Okay, well, I'm going to practice that. If I meet someone from Singapore, well, Singapore, they mainly speak English, but I think they have a language. But
Yeah.
the point
Don't
is
they
like
speak
it's gonna have to come to as I do my shows. If I meet someone that's local and they speak another language, I'm gonna say, hey, do you want to do a video in your language? And I study the language, which just the basics. Hi, how are you? How's it going? Let's do a magic trick. Learn the magic trick in the language and then perform it. So I'm not actually going to learn 23 more languages. I'm just going to learn like 4 to 5 phrases in 23 other languages, split
That's
up
fair.
based
I like that. That's
people's
cool.
availability.
A
But I'm going to
friend-
post it consecutive. Like I'm going to try to record all 30 in advance
Yeah.
and then just say 30 magic tricks, 30 languages, 30 days. Cause I feel like that's funny. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But I'm
30, 30,
obviously-
30.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be really actually possible to really like today I record one and then the next day I prepare, plan, record the second because I have to find 30 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I have
English,
a friend
Spanish, Russian,
that
those are
is
easy.
Norwegian. If you want the Norway bucket checked, I do have a friend that's Norwegian that you could do.
I actually do
trick.
too.
Why do we
Yeah.
both have a Norwegian friend?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with like try and do it all in person. So if I go to like Cali, that'd be great. And then if not, I might just have to cheat and do it through Zoom. But I have Zoom tricks, so it doesn't stop me.
Can we
Yeah.
do one more Zoom trick, please?
Yeah.
I need one
of
more.
course.
Yes.
This is the
Let me
best
ask
day
you
ever.
this. Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna send you a text. I don't want you to look at it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
It's on Do Not
So-
Disturb, so.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good. So you won't see
Okay.
the text, but you will receive a text right now. And because it's 9:41, you'll see the timestamp of it. So it proved that I literally sent it at 9:41 or 5:41, given your time. And I'm gonna ask you-
6:41. Just kidding. It is 6:41, but I'm just giving her time.
But do you both like movies?
Oh, I love movies.
I usually fall asleep,
Great.
but I like them.
That's good.
Yeah.
The reason I asked is I have a list of movies, and I
Okay.
also have a list of celebrities.
Okay.
Now,
I'm not good at this stuff, so thank God you're here.
it's all you have. Do you know how to count to 100?
I do know how to count to 100.
Then that's all you need. So one of you is going to get a number to be used for the movie, and one of you is going to get a number to be used for the celebrity. All this
Okay.
is, each of you just says a number 1 to 100.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, say them.
Oh, say them right
Everybody-
now.
Yeah, when you're ready, you have yours. Yeah,
Do I pick a number or a
yeah,
celebrity?
number 1 to 100. That's all you have to do.
69.
I'm going with 3 again.
3. So I heard, was it 69?
Nice.
Yes.
But
So
sure.
I'm gonna go to my notes
Because
here.
420 wasn't an
And-
option.
I want you guys can you see? I don't know if
Yeah.
it's dark, the Zoom.
Yeah,
you
we can
read?
see it.
Yeah.
And you could read it if
Mhm.
I what this is. Okay.
Pokemon. Yeah.
So let's do. So do you see a bunch of celebrities?
yeah.
Yeah.
69 was said. That is
Elvis.
Elvis.
Okay.
And can you see these names are different? They're not all the same.
Yeah.
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 You're nothing but a
And then
hound
it
dog.
looks like this is the good angle you could bridge it from. Do you see all these movies are different?
Yes.
The other movie, number 3, is,
Psycho.
Killer.
and these are all different. Yes.
Yes.
Now, 2 lists of 100 can combine to make 10,000 options. 100 times 100. But together, you got Elvis and Psycho. Now, right now, it's 5:43. I sent you a text at 5:41. Can you
Dude.
please read that text?
I'm scared. What the heck?
Me too.
Shut the front door.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
My gosh.
What the heck? I'm shook. How the hell did you
How?
do this?
How? Oh,
I think I
my
need to learn to
gosh.
become a magician so I understand.
That's
That's
like magic though. That is real magic. That's not an illusion. I always just like kind of
Whoa.
assumed magicians, it's just like an illusion, a trick.
Yeah.
But that like there's no way. There's
Like you said, there's 10,000 options.
Yes.
That's mind blowing.
What
my
just
gosh.
happened?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Elvis Psycho. Sorry, I'm shocked. Right
I don't
Thank
have
you,
any
thank
more
you.
words. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Do you want to do magic for me every day? Because I want to be mind boggled every day.
I definitely have a lot of ideas, projects I'm excited to launch.
If you
so
ever
hopefully
need a test
that-
subject, I will do it.
Of course, that'd be great. You
Yes.
know, watch the videos, help me,
Yep.
I'll figure it out. I have
I got
two,
you.
2 series that I really want to launch, which the language one I think is so cool.
Yeah, that's
And,
amazing.
and I live in New York, so I could literally like
You have a lot of
if I
people
don't
that
have
like.
friends, I could just make it up. Like I can go to like Koreatown and do Korea, and then China. Like I could just.
But
fake
there's
it.
also
Like,
so
not
many
fake
people
it,
that
but-
travel through there that like I think that you could honestly easily hit your 30.
Well, it
goal?
would just have to be like I have to know. Like I'm probably not going to retain the 23 other languages because I'm not going to be saying them often.
Yeah.
Versus the 7 that I do, I say it so much, or I've performed it enough times. The other ones would be like Korean. If I don't perform it like 10 times, I'm going to forget it. And I actually did that yesterday. I memorized something in Korean for my show. And then like 20 minutes later, I was saying it like fluently without like thinking about it. And then I forgot it because I didn't lock, I
It's
locked
fair.
it in enough in the moment
Yeah.
that I wouldn't forget it that day. And then, yeah, but if
You
wanted to
had
do
it
some
for when you
Korean-
needed it, and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a real deep
안녕하세요.
cut.
J. 이름은 Josh입니다. I had my little phrase I learned, which is, how are you? Or hi, how are you? My name is Josh. But it sounded good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you
that
had me
sounds-
fooled.
Now that I read it, I actually have it memorized again because I remember the phonetics.
What was the second series that you were interested in?
So I have this photo, and you could find it on my Instagram because I posted it at the beginning of the year. It was something I wanted to do for this year, and I didn't end up doing. But this is a picture of me in a bathtub full of magic kits,
That's
oh
cool.
my gosh.
and
so
I wanted
cool.
to a YouTube series, just have like longer format where I basically buy magic kits based on price, like dollar magic kit, $3, $5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and just do like a half unboxing video. Like this is a dollar magic kit. This is what we have inside. And then go on the streets and only perform what's in the box.
That's so
I have
cool.
a
make it, like-
challenge for you at that, another aspect of it. See how much money you can make off each one that's like $1 and see if you make more on the cheap ones or the other ones.
What do you mean make?
Like, I don't know, like if like do magic on the street, like have a hat out. I don't know. Like
Oh,
see,
like
like
tips, like
yeah, like
listing.
tips, like
Yeah.
what tricks, like
Um,
which box brings in the most. You can have
yeah, I
people
usually
vote.
don't. I don't really bust for tips. Like my street magic is just for content. Also, like depending
That's
on the
fair.
city and where
That's
you
fair.
are, it's like there's like rules. Like if you're doing
Yeah,
magic, you need like permits. If you're not getting paid, you can do it all you want. I'd rather not
that's
like
fair. That's
work with
fair.
that. If
Yeah,
That's
they
no,
fair.
want to
that
tip me,
makes
they could
I was
sense.
sell
just
me
trying to
or
give you a competition
no,
within
no, that's a good
it.
idea. But again, that comes down to more when you perform, it's all your personality. Because like I said, I could show you a trick that took me a year, 2 years, 5 years to perfect.
Yeah.
And I could show you a trick that I saw on YouTube because I Googled teach me a magic trick and people go crazy for the YouTube one and go nice for the 5 year one, which is why I kind of like I'm very big on just what plays best for everyone. So I know
That's fair.
everything in that box is gonna hit. I just think it's cool to think of that idea like, hey, this professional magician made a kid's toy look magical. He made
Yeah,
other people feel
professional.
like magic exists based on like kids' toys, which is why I
Yeah.
love when like when I do shows for kids, like I'm at a restaurant and the family brings their kids, I do the tricks that work on kids and adults. And it always works. It's so funny. The adults are like, oh, he's just gonna do something goofy for the kid. They don't know. And the trick that fools the kid fools them too. Like, wait, I'm fooled too. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was the point.
It's the trick I do for everyone that also works on kids, but they think it's going to be something like calm or so. And I do have sillier, funner stuff for kids, but those ones are like I start with that because they're like, if I just do a kid's trick to open up, they're going to think I'm a kid's magician, which is not the case. I do kid stuff. I don't mind. I like working with kids in moderation, right? I wouldn't want to do
Yeah.
a million shows a bit a week, but I can do them here and there, have fun. So it's good because it builds the respect. The kid is happy, but the parents are like on their guard because they were fooled too. And now I've like won everyone over with one thing for a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, which is I think it's really cool to do that.
So speaking of kids, our Am I the Asshole is related to kids, and now I'm curious if this is why you would not want to perform for children. And it is Am I the Asshole for exposing a magician's trick? And it was a kid that did this.
Well,
Yeah.
let's be real. It's a preteen, a 12-year-old,
It's a tween.
a tween.
Yeah. Another question that ties into this, people always ask, who's the hardest audience? And the answer is kids. Without a doubt. When you do magic for adults, they just allow it. They just accept it. They're just mind blown.
And kids are
have to
like,
explain-
you're wrong.
Yeah, kids have to explain everything and give reasons and grab your stuff, check your pockets. Like no adult's gonna watch a trick and be like literally reach into your pocket.
Yeah, it's
Kids
like
will do that.
giving you
My
a
tricks
countdown.
don't revolve around doing things in my sleeves. So the kids, going like I don't want them to grab me recklessly, but I'll let them check whatever on me. Like I can't have 5-year-olds that go through pockets I don't know, but like if they say what they want to do, I'll let them.
That's funny.
So I think it's on the context, right? If you're a kid, you're not an asshole. You're a kid. That's how kids are. If you're older, it depends on the context, right? Like if someone's performing just casually and you ruin it,
Oh no,
you might
this
be
is
a
bad.
dick.
Let me read it to you. This is bad. I think that this person's an asshole. So am I the asshole for exposing a magician's magic trick? When I was 12, I was really into magic tricks. My family and I went on holiday to Spain, and my mom decided to surprise me with tickets to a magic show. The first half of the show went well, but during the second half, one of the magicians started walking around the audience members and performing tricks in front of them. When he approached me, he pulled out a deck of cards, showed me the deck, and it appeared normal. When he shuffled the cards and told me to tell him when to stop, I said stop, and he revealed a card when I said to stop, and it was the 9 of diamonds. Then he slipped the card into the middle of the deck and without doing anything else, snapped his fingers and revealed the card at the top of the deck. It was the 9 of diamonds. Audience members clapped, and I blurted out, "I know how you did it." He looked a little shocked, but before he could say anything, I said that it was a Svengali deck and a trick deck where the deck can appear normal but actually contains multiples of the same card. Anywhere the deck is cut, it reveals the same card. The magician went really red, tried to laugh it off, and gestured a strangling motion to my neck, and then quickly moved to back to the stage and continued with the show. Later on, when the show ended, they were taking pictures with people, and I decided to take one with them. When I was walking up, we made eye contact, and I exposed that the magician that I exposed, and he gave me the death stare and quickly walked away. Was I an asshole for revealing how the trick was done?
No.
Should I have kept my mouth shut?
I think in that context, no. That's
Really?
that's not. Yeah, I don't think that because one, it's a 12-year-old's not going to understand the thing to do, and also because that trick can be done with any deck. So if you're cheating your way, like it makes it easier with the Svengali deck because like you said, the deck's made in a way where you don't have to do any work.
Mm.
But at the same time, with the right skill, you can do that trick. So if you're opting to, instead of do the skill, to cheat with a prop, you have to be ready to take that risk, right? Like, what if someone
Yeah.
asks to see your deck? And the thing about a Svengali deck is that's one of those props in Magic that like everybody like knows, like people listening, but I've never heard of it. But like, if you go to like even these kids, like if you buy a Magic kit for kids, they might have a Svengali deck in it. You know, you can go. Sometimes you go
Mm.
to like dollar stores. That's one of those Magic props that used to be so magic. It is magical because the card can be anywhere you want without doing anything. But it's also one of those things that's out there. It's very openly out there, not just like out because it's ruined by people that are on TikTok exposing tricks. Like if it's a really important magic secret, this, but I think a Svengali deck is one of those things that people kind of know. A lot of people, like if you know some tricks, that's what they're thinking. When you do any card trick and like it's a special deck, they're either thinking they're all the same, which is the most plausible, or it's something like the Svengali deck, something kids had when they're younger. So I don't think that that's really an asshole because
Okay.
you're
Now that
you're
you
putting
explain
yourself
it,
in
I'm
that
like,
position. Like
okay, I'm with you.
it's like because I'm thinking like if I'm gonna go and do that trick, right? I'm not, and especially depending on like the show and everything. If it's a big show, it sounds like there's a lot of people. It's a show,
He
you
said there
know.
was an
So
edit, and he said, I think I should clarify that there were around 3 magicians going around and performing tricks in the audience at the time. So there were only about 10 to 15 people around me when he performed the trick that observed and overheard me explaining it to him. So I didn't reveal it to
yeah,
the
but
entire
I think
audience.
that's still a big ass, right? It's very different than a restaurant. Like if I go to a restaurant, it's that kid and his family, and I
Mm-hmm.
go like you're at a show, everyone can watch, everyone can hear, and it's also a 12-year-old. Like if you're putting yourself in a position for a 12-year-old is exposing your show,
You need to rethink
then
your
you
career.
see it because like
Yeah.
let me give you this example. So can you name a card for me?
Ooh.
Just-
All right.
I'm not gonna find it. I'm literally gonna take it out of the deck because I want to give a example.
I'm gonna do the um Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts. That's great. The reason I say that's great is because the Ace of Hearts has a lot of white space, and for this demonstration, I'm going to need to write something, right? Because there's no way to prove this isn't a Svengali deck, right? Because, I mean, in theory, I could, but people could still doubt it. And the idea of the Svengali deck is there are more than one card,
Yeah, and if you
so
were
I
to
can't
draw
really
on
see.
one,
Yeah, exactly. So if I
yeah.
draw something on this Ace of Hearts, it would prove that I don't have more, and if I did, they wouldn't say whatever this is. So I'm not going to write like your name or something because that's
I have
too
a very
obvious. I want
serious
you to
question. How many decks of cards do you go through per year? Because
I
if
don't
you have to
know.
write
Like
on them,
I think it depends on how long how I handle them. Sometimes I just throw them in my pocket and they get beat up. It depends on the tricks. Like I have tricks that bend, fold, burn cards, so you run out of those faster. I have tricks where I started bringing two decks, one for like my bending, folding. I don't give a shit. Like do that, and then a deck just to like do normal stuff, and it's
so
been
then my
lasting
follow-up
longer.
question is your deck actually a regular deck of cards, or is it just like a
Yeah,
mismatch of every card?
no,
So do you just
it's a
like have
regular
ones
deck.
where you like put
Yeah,
new ones in?
yeah, like if I have a deck, this is regular. I want a normal deck for my show. If I want to do tricks where I'm folding or bending cards, then I'm gonna take like the pile of cards that aren't full decks and hold them just to like because that's not a full deck, but those are cards that I want to
Yeah.
bend because it's not gonna
Okay.
take away from
Can you write girls that excel on the card?
Yeah.
girls that excel. Okay, and I only have a Sharpie, a highlighter here. Okay, and now also that's here. Can you see girls?
Yeah.
Now this is also the name of the show. So your names, the name of the show is super. I want a super random word to really show there's no way I can know it.
Giraffe.
Giraffe, and you as well. Oh, so let's get one as well.
Uh, this is really now I'm on the spot. I'm not good.
Just say a word. Just say any word in the English
Eggplant.
language.
Okay.
Yes, but so
I was
that's
gesturing to the map over there.
I was like, she's
She
pointing
went,
at me and I don't know what that means.
Eggplant.
yeah. So you see now it's truly unique. That'd be really magical if I had a girls that excel giraffe eggplant card.
And that would be really magical.
Yes. So we're gonna do this. Can you see the card?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it in frame here. So I'm gonna drop it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna slide it out in the middle.
Okay.
Yes.
Shake, it's gonna come back. You see? Now, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop cards, say stop,
Stop.
Right here.
Mhm.
Okay. Gonna shake. Gonna come back again.
Literally, how did you do that?
How?
Now, that's a good question. So this time I'll do it face up to show you the moment it happens. Now I'm standing, so I want to make sure the camera can see it. Can you see the card?
Yes.
I'm gonna push it in. Okay.
Mhm.
You see it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'll put it about in the middle. Okay. Now, sometimes they think I did it. It's not there yet, right? Do you know
Yeah.
why?
Because it's
Do you know why it's not there?
No.
I don't either.
it's in
What
your mouth.
Literally, what?
We didn't see your hands move out of frame at all. How did you get that in your mouth?
So, yeah, that's why I say it's not an asshole because you can do that trick very well, even virtually without it. So if you're,
I literally,
you know,
I am so in shock right now. I don't understand what just happened because I was like watching your hands. I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. I got this, and I got nothing. I got nothing.
yeah. So for that reason, I would say that kid's not an asshole because that magician took that risk on himself. Anytime
fair,
you
yeah.
use a trick deck, right? You know people are going to ask to see the deck.
Mhm.
You know people are gonna, and like if they ask you, is it a trick deck? You can lie and just say no, right?
Yeah.
Like that's you have every right. It's your cards. But if someone knows the name of the deck and they expose it,
Yeah.
right? You run that risk by using a special deck, and
Yeah.
so it's not if a 12-year-old knows how it's done.
Then maybe you need a new career
Well,
Well,
maybe
no,
you just
not
need to practice
necessarily.
more.
or practice.
You just need to know when you use a special item, you run the risk of exposing that item, right? If I'm using a card trick with a special deck, someone could point out the deck. If I'm using, if I'm doing something with a watch and it's my watch, and I do something really weird and someone wants to see it and I'm using like a sketchy or special watch, like
Yeah.
you have to know people are naturally, and you do, if you're a real magician, people are curious. People are going to ask you the questions. And not all the time can you just say yes or no and they just accept it, right? Sometimes someone will say, let me see. And you say, I can't, whatever, whether you actually can't or you just want to give them a reason to back off. They might persist,
Yeah.
even if it is a
Yeah.
normal thing. If you don't let them see it, that's enough suspicion that they're convinced. Like, that's the other thing is if the kid was wrong, completely wrong, and he said, I know how you did that. You had an extra coin. That makes no sense. It's a card trick. What do you mean a coin? If someone's convinced they know how a trick is done, they know how a trick is done. You're not unconvincing.
Yeah, you can't.
So like if someone suspects something fishy, whether they're right or not, that's their explanation no matter what. So you don't have them fooled if they
Yeah.
come up with
Okay.
something. So you run that risk, especially in the case where something like a Svengali deck, that's a really hot item. When you Google, like I said, if it's something that can be in a kid's magic kit, it's exposed enough that
Yeah.
it's not unlikely. And that's a 12-year-old, right? Like, how would he know that?
Yeah.
He's not on the internet searching this stuff. He probably got one in a kit as a kid.
Mhm.
So, you have to be smart about those things. You can't blame the kid for that. Every trick you do can be exposed. Anything you do, someone can call out. You can't get mad at someone for being knowledgeable about that stuff. You just gotta, I think, just do a better job of not letting it be so obvious, right? Like I could do that same thing with this Svengali deck, but do it in a clearer way where they might not think it's Svengali. Or just again, like I said, just don't do a Svengali deck for that trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much better ways to do it. I just did 3 phases of that virtually. I could do the same thing in person, any deck. So I don't think it's
I
professional.
mean, you literally did magic tricks with a brand new deck. Like we took the wrapper off and it's
Yeah.
across the country.
2 of them.
Yeah.
One was brand new, but 2 decks I've
Yeah.
never seen or touched across the country at the same
Yes.
time. Like I think that you just you got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Not that the magician's bad and no hate to the kid, but you got to know these things could happen, right? You can't expect the
Yeah.
show to be
You got to be
perfect.
prepared for what might happen.
Yeah, and I
And,
think the kid is not an asshole, but for I'm going to take it a step further. There's a level of professionalism I feel like you have to have as a performer of any sort to not let kind of the small things get to you. And I feel like what kind of took that magician to the top is how he immediately stopped taking pictures with people and started being really upset and made it more of a big deal than I think it needed to be.
And I think I will say if the kid was older, he's an asshole. Like if you're an adult,
Mm.
like you should have the context of time and place. You don't want to ruin it for everyone else. Like you
Yeah.
weren't fooled, but other people might be. You gotta let it. But if you're a kid, you're free. Okay, you can say whatever you want as a kid. So if you're an adult, like even that defense doesn't work. But
That's
also, like, if as a magician, like I'm imagining, like if I did that and a kid calls me out, I have two. I could be like that, a dick. There's so many good ways to play it. I could literally call myself out, be like, "You're right. This is a special," and lead it somehow lead into my next trick that will fool him, because now I get two angles, right? I have the adults; they're gonna think that's part of it, so I save myself on that aspect,
mm.
and I have the kid that thinks he knows what's going on, which he does, but by pretending that that's part of it, he's also on the edge. And if I lead it into the next trick that's 100% going to fool him because I'm not using a Svengali deck anymore, that kid's going to get fooled really bad, forget he said anything, and everyone else is going to think that was part of it. Like I wanted him
Yeah.
to get
It's you taking control of what's happening on
you
the
can
stage.
easily fix that. Like you can literally make that embarrassing moment, that bad moment, you could turn that bad. Like I said, those tricks where I pretend to mess up,
Mm-hmm.
the same thing if you actually do mess up. Like you can take that as a positive. You could play it off really well where people think that's what was supposed to happen. And like, or even play like, yes, you're the magician. Like this is how I would do it. I would say, yes, that's good. This is a special deck. You're the magician. Now come help me with this. And on the next trick, as I do it, I'm just saying he's doing it. So it's like, oh, what a guy, he's making it. But the kid's gonna still freak out because like, how did I do that? What? But I made it like you were the magician. You
Yeah.
knew that. You have the ability to do it. He's freaking out. He's happy. I'm telling him it's because he did it, so he feels good because he's a kid and kids are kids. Adults are happy because the kid's happy. If I bring someone up on stage, your response is their response. Whoever's on stage is how you're going to feel. If you see someone on stage sad, awkward, uncomfortable, the audience is sad,
Yeah.
awkward. If you see someone on stage, especially a kid, because it doubles because they're a kid, if they're happy and excited, you're going to be equally as happy as excited. So you could, to that guy, you easily could have turned that into like something likely better than what your show was planned. Like it could have been really magical for both the kid and the other 15 people. But like that's what I said. People get so full of themselves, like, look what I could do, this and that when you
Yeah.
mess up, you get rude.
Yeah.
It's
You,
a 12-year-old
you
year old
can't
kid. What are
pivot.
you gonna go
Yeah.
home and say
And
that
cry
kid's like
about
a
it.
dick? Yeah, like you're gonna go home. You're a grown man gonna complain about a 12-year-old kid being a 12-year-old kid. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think a 12-year-old would be an asshole. Maybe a 19 plus year old, 18
Yeah.
plus year old. That's
Yeah.
different. That's where you
I
start
should
being a little
learn
more
the social
mindful.
cues by then.
Yeah, but 12-year-old, like you're 12-year-olds can get away with it. And that's I don't even think and the kid's not even doing it in a rude way. Like that's just how kids are. Like
Yeah.
you are gonna fool me or not.
Yeah.
Just like an adult, right? Like if I didn't fool you, you're gonna be like, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
You're not being rude, you're not telling me I suck. It's just what it is. It either is good or bad. And it's a show, right? People have the right to have that opinion.
Yeah,
And
for
you
sure.
just gotta know how to do it.
100% agreed.
All right. Are you ready to clock out?
We're wrapping up.
I never clocked out, but
Never.
I'm ready.
He's got more tricks up his sleeve.
No pun
All
intended.
right. Well, if you could perform one final magic trick for the whole world, something that would leave a lasting impression and everybody would see it, and this is what you would go down in history as the magician that did this trick, what would it be?
I thought about this when you said it. I never thought about this before you mentioned it, which is a really good question. And one thing that came to mind is there's different effects that magicians do. We have tricks with water, we have tricks with fire, right? Kind of like the Avatar thing, earth, fire, air, water. And there's some tricks where you could like have an illusion like something grows impromptu, like out of your hand, or like something sprouts up. I think I would wish I could be able to do that on a large scale where I could just like
Grow a
go to
tree.
like empty place, like a forest, like an empty place where like bunch of big forests, like
That would be
regrow destroyed habitats, like somehow, some way scale that like plant growing naturally to like a forest kind of thing and fix those like more
That's
oxygen,
cool.
more food supply for that and be remembered. It's like that. Cause I love those stories where it's like couple gets married and plants a tree for their anniversary or their like engagement, and 60 years later it turns into like a forest, stuff like that. Like those are so
Yeah.
I
cool.
love that.
I
Where
love
it's like
that.
the people there's like this couple in Brazil, they like literally bought land like 20, 30, 40 years ago. They planted like a few trees and then it grew into like a whole forest. And now there's like tigers and like these really exotic animals that live there, like an entire ecosystem. I'm like, that's so, they just planted a tree and literally made a forest.
I
Like,
like it.
I think that's so cool. I don't know. That's
That is
my
so
like,
cool.
I love that.
that would be a cool thing. And also a cool thing to remember, this guy made a forest single-handedly. Like that just feels badass.
Literally with one hand.
Yeah.
One hand.
That would be amazing to be remembered as the
Yeah.
man that is able to.
Regrew the Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did. They
Save the
literally
world.
regrew the Amazon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alyssa, what trick would you want to be part of?
I want to be a part of that. That sounds awesome. Honestly.
Join me. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I
We'll
want to
have
be.
multiple hands. We'll grow it even faster. Yeah.
100%.
I just want to be sawed in half. That's all. I want to be chopped up. I want to be sawed.
Oh
you
my
know
gosh.
that the magic trick where you get in a box and they saw you in half. I want to be sawed in half.
Like saw yourself in half?
No. I want to be a part of it.
Okay, that's fair.
So the magician, I'm gonna let the magicians do the magic, and I just want to be
You
chopped
just want to
up.
be the guinea pig with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for tuning in to our magical episode. Josh, you are awesome. Thank you so much for these tricks. Like
Incredible.
you lived up to all of my hopes and dreams. This was excellent. So if you're feeling inspired, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things Girls That Excel, but also give Josh a follow. Josh, you want to give a little?
My socials are all the same. I'm Josh Pele Magic. That's Josh Pele Magic. You can find me on YouTube, and by the time you hear this episode, hopefully those YouTube series will have started, so you can
We hope
start
so
seeing the
too.
first few episodes. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and yeah, find me anywhere. Follow Girls That Excel. If you're already listening to this, I know that you're one, a smart person, two, gonna do big things, and three, if you keep listening, you're gonna keep succeeding. So
Oh, thank
kudos
you.
to you.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be on a great podcast with great people, great conversation, great topics. So thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
This was
No,
really fun.
has
Honestly, this
been
was the
so
highlight of my
fun.
day.
Do you ever make your way out to the West Coast?
Yeah, I performed last time was LA in October, and it's one of those things where they just come up. Right now I have no trips planned outside of Sweden, but tomorrow 3 people could call me and I have 3 flights. It
Well,
could
you'll have to
literally
keep
be
us
like that.
posted because if you're on this
Yeah.
coast, we might have to come hang out.
Yeah.
I think I had the craziest turnaround tour was this year, like mid-February. I had 0 flights booked.
Wow.
0. And like upcoming, or I hadn't flown all year and had 0 upcoming. And in a month and a half, I ended up doing Mexico, then home, then Miami, then home, then Jamaica, then home, then Amsterdam, Belgium, then home.
Oh my
Whoa.
goodness.
So I ended up from 0 flights planned to 4 countries and another city in a month and a half with no trip to trip. It was trip back, trip back, trip back. I never went one to the next, except for Amsterdam and Belgium.
Yeah.
Those were the only two. But
Since you hear
Mexico
that,
home,
Alyssa, you can't
Miami
complain about
home.
your travel schedule
I know.
anymore.
I can't.
Well, that was only in that month. After that, that was like March to beginning of April. Then I had no flights till June, which was a weekend trip. No flights till October.
Then I think I have a beat, I
LA.
think. I do still beat
Yeah,
you on
I-
travel. I
it-
do
it
actually,
comes-
next time I go to New York for things, I will have to
Please
let you know so I can
You're
come see a
always
show.
welcome in the city. I'll make sure to take care of you. And
Can I
anyone
meet
else,
50
if
Cent?
yeah. If
Okay,
if anyone
okay,
else finds
you-
out about me through Girls Through Excel, message me saying Girls That Excel, and I'll give you a discount on some venues as well. So
Oh, that's
the
That's
Girls That Excel
awesome.
discount is active for any listeners.
Love it. Thank you.
Love that. Next week's episode is going to be a nice, short, sweet, warm, and fuzzy episode. It airs on December 23rd, and that is obviously a couple days before the holidays. Christmas Eve, if you will. And we just want to give you something short, sweet, let you know we're thinking about you. So it's not going to be a full episode next week. The week after that, we are taking time off to be with our families, to mentally reset and recharge. And we encourage you to as well. You'll be able to hear a full episode on January 6th. This is going to be about New Year's resolutions, work,
body positivity, and so much more. So look out for that on January 6th, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
Well, again, give us a follow, give Josh a follow, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here again. We're
Thanks.
signing off. Make sure you say bye. 1, 2, 3, bye.
Bye.